Hello and welcome to the MAC weather page for this Thursday, November 1st, and we're going to have our 2018-2019 winter outlook here. And if we take a look at the next slide, of course you've heard a lot about El Nino, and this is certainly going to be an El Nino year where I think that pattern will try to overwhelm our winter forecast. And again, a typical El Nino would give us warm and dry conditions across the northern states and a cool and wet period across the southwest into the Gulf states, into the southeast states. And again, we'll have cold air intrusions try to make it into the New England area, and some of those will no doubt come back as far west as the Great Lakes for sure. And whether or not we can couple a couple of these southern streams with the northern streams to create a couple storms that would bring us significant snow is going to be key to making my ultimate forecast as far as snowfall amounts. And again, what winter outlook would be complete without having the old Farmer's Almanac forecast for this winter. And you can see they're forecasting mild conditions for the eastern two-thirds of the United States, with actually above normal precipitation from the Gulf to the Great Lakes to the mid-Atlantic states and into New England. Again, not your typical El Nino pattern. And they show a little bit more troughing out west with more in the way of snowfall and colder temperatures, especially in the southwest. We'll see how that pans out. And if we look at the Climate Prediction Center for the 90-day period of December, January, and February, you can see the weakness or the want to put cold air across much of the southeast states, and I can't argue with that one bit. Again, we'll see some other forecasts that'll push this warmth back farther west. And as far as precipitation, this would be a very typical El Nino year with warm and dry conditions across the northern states with above normal precipitation, again, across the south. As far as weather battle goes, they are more bullish on the cold air this year, and they're factoring in that we have somewhat of a neutral El Nino as far as warmth in the Pacific near the equator. We'll show you that in a minute, and a couple of other factors. And you can see, so colder than normal expected. And they're predicting for much of the Great Lakes to the south and east that we would see near to above normal snowfall. As far as this next slide, this is pretty much what everyone uses very much in their long-term forecasting, and this winter no exception. And we look for a couple of signals, 3 to be exact. The main one being in the red dashed line. This is the equator region. Right now you can see very warm all across the equator from east to west across the Pacific, and that is a warm signal. And as far as the ENSO 1-2, which would be the eastern portion of the area, right now showing a little bit more in the way of warmth compared to the central and the western areas. But again, that would mean we could get off to a pretty good start in November, December. And then the other two about equal factors that we look for. The next is the water anomalies in the Gulf of Alaska, and these are very favorable for cold winters in the east with very warm surface temperatures compared to normal in that area. The other factor would be if you want cold and snow, you want to see this area to the west of Australia to be colder anomalies compared to this area to the east of Australia, and right now that is the case. So that is also a cold signal for much of the eastern United States, including the Great Lakes. So over the next 30 days, and I'll issue my absolute final updated forecast on December 1st, but you can see right now there is a mixed bag of signals that would indicate both for a warm, dry winter, but also for a cold and stormy winter. Again, number one, though, is the El Nino, and actually look at all the warmth in the Pacific and in fact, all the oceans, mainly to the north of the equator, and that, to me, could overwhelm the pattern and give us a fairly warm winter. But right now, we're going to have a little bit different take on that for the moment until we see what the surface sea temperatures do next month. As far as the forecast for temperatures, we expect near to above normal temperatures. Not significantly right now, but maybe as much as 1 or 2 degrees above normal. And we do think, though, we're going to see near to above normal snowfall with below normal precipitation for the 3 months of December, January, February. The snow would be from the first snowflakes to the last snowflakes. And as far as my forecast for the non-snow belt areas, right here in mid-Michigan is a pretty good area to forecast. Obviously, if you're near the lake, you're going to get more. But right now, we're forecasting temperatures to be anywhere from about a half a degree below normal to about 1.5 degrees above normal. So overall, this will not be a bitterly cold winter in any way, shape, or form. That doesn't mean you can't have 1 or 2 severe cold outbreaks. As far as the normal snowfall is 40 inches, and we expect, again, with that precipitation to be near to below normal. However, we do expect that we could link up a couple of southern stream systems coming out of Texas and combining with some of the Clipper systems. And we'll need at least 2 of those that will produce 8 to 12 inches, I think, if we're going to hit my forecast of 42 to 46 inches. And this is a little bit on the bullish side. So again, not a huge snowfall winter as it looks right now. But again, there'll be a lot of systems tracking along the Gulf, and all it takes is a couple of those to move to the north and combine with cold air diving south, and we could have some significantly more snows even than this. But right now, the best bet based on the El Nino is that we overall see a fairly mild winter with near normal snowfall to slightly above normal snowfall. And again, we'll update that December 1st. Thanks for stopping by, and have yourself a great day, and 73s to all.